because they're talking.
Teacher. Right, teachers in the crowd, is this what you used to do? Put your hand up. Okay, thank you. Today we have a guest speaker, but before we get to our guest speaker, we're going to start with resident announcements. So Sue, will you pick us up?
The rummage sale is coming up on Friday, September 15th. Not too far away. It is from 9 to 2, and the last hour of the rummage sale is a $2 bag sale. Everybody has gotten this notice front and back with the information about the rummage sale. If you've lost it, they are posted on bulletin boards, or I can give you another one. Items can be brought to the Maloney Center here beginning on Monday, the 11th of September. The committee will do pickups on that Monday in the apartments. Notify me, and we'll set up a group that will come around to your apartments to pick up heavy things. If you could bring them here to the Maloney Center, we would appreciate it. Patio homes. I will send out a notice to the patio homes on when your pickup will be. Maintenance will do it, and it will depend on when they have their trailer on, and I don't see Matt today to verify that, but I'll put a notice in your mailboxes about that. You will notify me. Everything's coming through me. I'm Sue Bolter, if you don't know me. Everything will come through. Hi, Sue. Everything will come through me as far as pickups, and patio homes will be taken care of. Right now, what can you do? Start and collect your items for the rummage sale. I have mine already collected, put them in boxes in the corner of my apartment. Where do you find boxes? In the trash room. The trash room has wonderful boxes because people get things from Amazon. Tell your friends and family about the rummage sale. It is open to the public. We need brown bags with handles. We will use these for the bag sale. The day of the sale, you can come and shop. It's 9 to 2 on Friday, the 15th of September. Our proceeds are going to go to the Punt Foundation for Pediatric Cancer. We cannot keep the money here. And as publicity is done by the marketing team, Michelle Birmingham, she isn't here, is a representative from marketing. That will be on our flyer so people know that this is a fundraiser. Does anybody have any questions right this minute? Ilona.
My quick question, Sue, where do I take my bags?
Bags go to the Creative Arts Room and Nicole.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I'll be here after coffee hour if you need one of these papers or have any other questions.
Thank you. Good job, Sue. Our next resident announcement, Lance.
Good job, Sue.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. The nominating committee for the resident council meeting is just getting going, and we have some people who have said they would like to have an interest in being on the council, but there are over 200 of you, and as much as we look around, we may have missed somebody inadvertently, and if we missed you and you would like to be a nominee for the resident council for the 2023 voting, which will take place October 25th, let me know. Let Donna Porter know. Let Harriet know. Now, one qualification, if I haven't approached you, it may be that you haven't been here a year.
Thank you.
You must be a resident for a full year. But some of you are quieter than others, and so I may have missed you or I don't see you as much. So please think, it's a good group and a vital group. And it's important that administration, I think, appreciates it very much. And so think about it, work hard and come see me. Come see me if you're interested.
Nicole and I looked at the calendar a couple of days ago, and Yarn and Thread will resume on Wednesday, September 6th at 3 p.m. in the Creative Arts Room. And if you're new, this is anybody that knits, crochets, does needlework, quilts, anything you want to do that you can sit around the table and do with others. Come join us.
Wonderful, that was announcements. Uh-oh, go Bills.
What a way to start. Listen, I'd like to just congratulate Aaron, who ran the first annual Fox Run Golf Tournament. It was just a lot of fun for everybody that came. And I played with Jan, and I didn't realize she was a hooker.
Just a couple of announcements from yours truly. I am the trash Nazi, and that's what I call myself because I'm right near the trash room, and I go in there every day. Number one, please remember that cans with tops on them, the little tabs, we take them off if you don't. But if you took them off and put them in, it would be a lot nicer, but nonetheless, remember that we're still collecting tabs for the Shriners Hospital Burn Treatment Center. And secondly, please, I beg you, please read what goes into each container. The other day, I took out plastic cups, I took out paper cups, I took out of the bin with the pop bottles and the pop cans. So please read it. I don't know if the people taking care of our people are responsible or the people that are living here. I've gone into the garbage, left over, and I literally transfer things. And I don't mean to say good for me, but it just is important. I think it makes it easier for everybody. But at any rate, please remember that if you don't mind. Thank you very much. God bless your day.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, is there any other resident announcements? All right, so I'm going to introduce our speaker today. Our speaker is Mr. Michael Gardner from, what's your company?
Western New York Consulting Group.
Western New York Consulting Group. I got a little nervous there, and Michael is our IT person. And I have to say that he has this wonderful personality, and I don't want to blow up his head, but he's super smart. And if all of you are not computer people, he is. So I don't know how he does, what he does, but he's also got this great personality, because a lot of computer people don't have both, but Michael does. So give Michael a round of applause.
So I've been doing this presentation now for maybe 4 or 5 years for Fox Run. We started introducing it to all of you, and I heard I only have 20 minutes to get through this, so we're going to hop right in quick. If you have any questions during, please ask, because if they pertain to the slide, it would really help everyone out. So we're going to talk about cybersecurity. I usually give this to companies, and it's really geared more toward employees and safety at the workplace. So we kind of migrated this over to something that is more geared toward you and the things that you're going to see on a daily basis when you're using your computers. So things we're going to talk about. Why this is important. We're going to talk a little bit about social engineering. We're going to spend a little bit of time on internet safety and email, everyone's favorite thing, passwords, multi-factor and why you should be using it. We're really going to talk about a lot of the scams that are going on right now in the world, some privacy concerns and general tips. So, why is cybersecurity important? Anyone who has a laptop, they probably have antivirus software on here, but technology can't stop most of the things that we're seeing nowadays as far as these scams. Attackers are going to go where security is the weakest, and sometimes that's us, but you are not you're the first line of defense when it comes to your computer and your phone, your tablet, anything related to this IT. So, and it's really important for everyone to know. So kids, parents, employees, you name it. And you would think, so why is an attacker interested in me? What do I have that they want? Well, you have something. You might have safe passwords, safe bank passwords, credit card data. Medical data is worth so much on the dark web right now in the black market. We're seeing, as far as medical records are concerned, they can be worth up to $1,000 per record, where a credit card record is worth about $5 on the dark web. So that's really what they're interested in now. Even if you don't have anything saved, they could use your computer for things to actually further their endeavors. Get ransomware on it, or just use it to start sending more spam out, and we all know how that goes. It's not fun. Oh, anyone who didn't sign up in the sign-up sheet, just real quick, it's name, address, social security number, credit card number, bank account. It's totally legit. You can trust me. Get on the way out if you could, please.
It's a scam.
No, whoa. So let's talk about social engineering. This is the use of deception to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes. This is their game. This is the scammer's game. They want to trick you into thinking there's someone they're not. And they're very, very good at it. They don't have jobs except to scam people. So all day long they sit around and come up with new ways to trick you into thinking there's someone they're not. Some of their tactics are phishing, scareware, deals, and threatening phone calls. You will never receive a phone call from the IRS. Ever. Ever. Keep that in mind. Email. This is the big one. This is the way. Email and text messaging. Text messaging is getting worse. You might get a text from Amazon saying that you have a problem with your order, click here, or call this number. So when it comes to email and text messages, we like to call these the big three. Do you know who is sending you that message? Were you expecting that message? And does it look like something that they would normally send you if you do know that person and were expecting it? If you can't answer yes to all three of those, do not click, do not call, just delete it and move on. So email, I like to show this because email is the easiest way to trick someone into thinking you're someone you're not. There's two parts to an email address. The first part is the name. So you can see here we have George Washington. That name can be anything someone wants to put in. I could go to Gmail or Hotmail or any of these mail services, and when they ask me my name, I could put in anything. It is not scannable. It's not used for detecting spam in any way. And then we have the second part of this, and it's the actual email address. These are very, very hard to fake. So this is what you want to look for. But on the next slide, we're going to actually see how these threat actors use an email address to trick us. So here you can see, I have the name someone typed in help@amazon.com, so now it looks like that's just the email address. And this is where they get you. So they'll type in help at Microsoft or PayPal or any of these services. And on most phones now, iPhone and Android, when you go to check your mail, they're not actually showing you the address. They're just showing you the person's name. So what you're going to see is this fake name that looks like it's a legitimate email address, and you're going to immediately think, yep, this is definitely from Amazon. I trust this message now, and that's where they got you. So on many phones, you can tap on that name, and it'll expand out and actually show you where the email, what the email address is underneath it. So it's very important to do if you have any thoughts that this is not a legit message. Some of the examples that we can see here is we have the name is Microsoft Account Team, and but the domain or the email address doesn't match that name. We also have a message saying our password's expired. Well, Microsoft's probably not going to send you an email that your password expired, and most legitimate sites won't. You can see here we have, so maybe I do have a Microsoft account, maybe my password is expiring, but do I trust this? I wouldn't, if I think my password is expiring, I'm going to actually sign into my Microsoft account or my Amazon account or whatever that account may be. I'm going to start with a known good place. I'm not going to trust information that's been given to me in an email. Hovering over these links and these buttons, this is what really tells you where it's going, because the blue text in the link can say anything it wants. It can say, click here, totally trustworthy site, and in reality, that's not where you're going. So definitely hover over. And if you have questions, not clicking, nothing bad can happen by not clicking. They're not going to come take away your birthday. They're going to, if it's an actual problem, you're probably going to get certified mail, or you're going to get a phone call or something else, and then you can hang up and call the number that you know of. If it's your credit card company, and they're calling you because there's a problem with your account, say thank you, hang up, and call the number on the back of your card. Always start with known good information, not what you're being provided. Hover works everywhere. It's tougher on a mobile device. You can tap and hold. I wouldn't recommend that because you could accidentally not hold long enough, and now you're going to the site. So again, if you're not sure, just delete it. They'll reach out to you again if it's important. Let's skip those. Scammer favorites. So anytime there's holidays coming around, they're going to send out messages saying, "Hey, we know you ordered something for your grandson on Amazon. There's a problem with the order." So they're always using anything urgent, tax issues, things like that. So definitely watch out during the holidays. Yes.
One of the things that I've gotten is your order is ready to be shipped.
Yeah, that's very prevalent.
Yeah, and with PayPal, I have I automatically forward it to a fish thing or something on PayPal.
Oh, nice.
They have a place. So anytime I get, if it's a PayPal thing or not, it's the only place I have anything from.
Yeah, that's so. They're always trying to get you to click or call.
Comment, please.
Yeah, so what she said is she gets a lot of the text messages saying your order's ready to be shipped, or emails that your order's ready to be shipped, and maybe there's a problem with it, so click here. They're really looking for coincidence, and unfortunately everyone orders things online, and so that's the easiest text message or email to send out is there's a problem with your order, because we're always ordering things all day long, so we're so concerned with, hey, we're not going to get our package on time, I better do something about this. The easiest thing you can do there is if you know you placed an order on Amazon, log into Amazon and see if there's a problem. Don't click on what you're being provided. Yes?
I had the same experience 2 weeks ago. I got a nice email, looked very valid, the whole thing that my order is being shipped. Well, I looked at the order, and of course it was like $300 and something. The only thing on there that I was looking at was a cart, you know, to bring groceries in, but they added a DVD and they ordered something else to it. I knew there was something wrong, so I called both my credit cards, and I just simply said, I have this, it's the phishing thing that they were doing, and I sent my credit card people that actual email. They asked me to send it to them, and then I just ignored it. I'm telling you, it's a nightmare.
It is
right?
a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
It is, and it's getting worse, unfortunately.
Yes, it is.
So.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've heard many people say that they have money stolen from their bank accounts. How does that happen?
Because so the question was, she's heard of many people who've had money stolen from their bank account. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take anything I say seriously. But personally, I use my bank account to pay my credit card bill, and that's it. Because the credit is not your money, and who cares if it gets stolen? Your bank account is your money, so I use my personal and company credit cards for everything, and then I pay my credit card off my bank account. So no one has my bank account numbers, and anytime you're asked for your bank account number, pretend that you're giving this person some money, and so anyone who has your bank number and your routing number can take money out of it, which is the scariest thought. It's crazy, but so yeah, that's something to just keep in mind whenever you're putting your information out there. Who are you giving it to, and what are they doing with it?
Don't they have to buy?
Wait, Janice.
Don't they have to bypass security names and stuff that I have?
No, bank transfers are their ACH payments. All you need is if you're a business, and so these scammers will start up fake businesses, and as long as they have your bank account information. A lot of times they don't do that because that's somewhat traceable. They're looking for you to give them money, and that's way easier because if you give them money, then you're not getting it back. So, has anyone here used a gift card to pay a legitimate company like a bill or anything? Good. Because gift cards are always scams. Every time, no questions. You will never, ever, 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 I'm not going to repeat all those evers, be asked to purchase a gift card of any sort by a reputable company to pay a bill. Ever. No matter what. As soon as you hear those two words, gift card, you hang up. It's a gift. That's what it should be used for, not paying anything, ever. I can't stress this enough because the scamming industry is $1 billion industry, and they work off of gift cards and credit cards, and it's just, people are just handing these over. My mother did it about a month ago. I said, shame on you, you should know better. Your son's an IT guy, why didn't you call me? She drove to the store and bought a $500 gift card and read the numbers off, and then called me. And I had to joke with her, pretend I was a Nigerian prince when I talked to her.
Mike, I sat in a doctor's office and listened to a patient sitting in the waiting room reading his entire credit card number, the expiration date, and the CVV to somebody over the phone.
You got a copy of that, right?
Write
Write that down while you were listening?
Yes.
Good. We'll talk later.
So I just wanted to add about credit card, the gift cards. If Bill Darzik emails you and asks you in a pinch to go get a gift card for them so that he can give them to another resident or an employee, he will never ever do that. We have had many employees get emails saying, hi, this is Bill, do you have a second, can you go get a gift card? He will never do that. Only the finance department is able to do that, or he comes to me in person, so just so you're aware.
Thank you, Jill. Yeah, the takeaway from this is when you hear those two words, your brain should stop immediately and say, this is a scam, no matter what, every time. So, if that's the only thing you take away from this, you pass. Okay, everyone's favorite thing, passwords. They're horrible, but we need them because otherwise our accounts are not. If you have any hawk feathers or unicorn blood, see me after. Some of my passwords. Keep them in a secure location. This is tough because we all keep them all over the place. The underside of your keyboard is not secure. That's the first place I look. If I go to someone's computer and I'm working on it, I don't have their password. I'm a big fan of the password managers, as long as that password manager is protected with multi-factor authentication, which we're going to talk about briefly. So, password managers can create very strong passwords, and especially on the phones, the iPhones and the Androids, they can generate passwords that are 20 characters of garbage. You'll never remember it unless you write it down, but it will store your password for you. I'm a big fan of these, again, as long as the thing holding those passwords is protected. Some password tips if you do want to create your own. Don't use any part of your name, your address, your kids, pets, any of that. And separate passwords for every account. If you like to use the same password for every account, just make sure your email address uses a separate password. Because if I can get into your email account, I can start resetting all your other passwords. So that's the one password that should be different from everything. If you use a password manager, this is all very easy.
Would you repeat that again?
Absolutely. If the one password that you want to be separate from all other passwords is your email account, because if I can get into your email account, I can start resetting any password where you've used that email. So for instance, if you signed up for your credit card and you gave me your email address, once I get into your email account, I can start saying, forgot my password, and they'll send those reset links to the email account that I'm now logged into. So password managers are great because they will assign a password that's just gibberish to every one of your accounts.
password manager? What?
Yeah, so the question was, where do you find a password manager? They're built into Google, to Safari, so if you're using an iPhone, they'll natively store your password. Android will natively store your password, and they'll do a thing that says suggest password. I recommend the suggest password because they're creating very secure passwords. And then next time you go to the site, it'll pop that password right in there. A lot of people say, well, that's dangerous, my passwords are being stored. Yes, but if you're storing them on a piece of paper somewhere, again, you never know. So, and most people who are creating passwords and writing down on paper, they tend to start using that same password over and over or a derivative of it, and then that's when you get into trouble. So, it's not bulletproof, but it's the best we have.
How'd you get an Android?
Oh, so either Android phone, like I have, or like most of you maybe have iPhones, like Jill does.
Yeah.
And so it's going to ask you to save that password, or it'll say suggest password.
Where do I go for that?
For this?
No, I mean, how do I enter it?
Oh, so when you go to, say you create a new account, it's just going to ask you if you want to put a password in, it'll do it automatically.
You can't do that to an old account?
Well, when you go to change the password, yes.
Okay.
So if you have an old account, you go in to change that password, it'll say suggest password. Yes.
So if I want, okay, I understand how you can do it on an iPhone, but what about my computer?
Your computer will do the exact same thing. If you're using Chrome or the new Edge browser, Microsoft Edge, Safari will do the same thing. There'll be a suggest password somewhere when you click into that to start typing your new password. It should pop up. And this is actually something we can go over with Killian on how to help with that.
So if I'm out of town and using a computer out of town, then I don't know my password.
That is where the problems, yeah. So that password can go between your devices. So if you were not using your computer but someone else's computer, yeah, you would not be able to log in. Those passwords will go from computer to computer as long as they're your computer and you're signed into them. Yes?
I pulled up Best Password Manager in 2023, and there.
Thank you. I pulled up Best Password Manager in 2023, and there are several listed there.
Yes.
So are there any better ones than others? Bitwarden, iPassword, NordPass, Keeper, Dashlane?
NordPass is pretty good.
Okay.
There's going to be millions of these.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I would do a little research on each one of them. I'm a fan of using the browser to save my password. It's called native. It's built right in. So if I use Chrome because I'm a Google user.
Okay.
If you're an Apple user, you're going to be using Safari probably.
Yeah.
And if it let it manage your password for you, and it's seamless compared to if you say you sign up with NordPass. You have to have a NordPass app installed on your phone now to handle those passwords.
Yeah, gotcha.
They are more secure technically, but even Chrome and Safari, they're storing those with a very high level of encryption.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you are going to create passwords, passphrases are better. You can see this bad password right here. It's 8 characters long. That password takes 0.001 seconds to crack. Versus this great password that's much simpler and easier to type because it's using words that we type every day potentially. That would take 97 years to crack. Because you're going to change that password at least once a year, right everybody? It would be impossible for anyone to get into that account. So length is better than complexity. Complexity means nothing. Length is everything when it comes to passwords. Also, if you're using a public computer, do not save your password. Very dangerous. Two-factor or multi-factor authentication. For anyone who doesn't know what this is, it's as simple as, let's say you're signing into your bank or credit card and they say, we're going to send you a text message with a code to verify. That's multi-factor authentication. There's different levels of it. Maybe you're just getting the text code because you're signing in from a computer that you've never used before. Or you have a very sensitive account and you have one of the authenticator apps installed that's generating codes that you need to type in every time you sign in. But those are different levels of multi-factor. I implore you to use these on any sensitive accounts, especially your email account. I think all the big players like Google and Microsoft, I think they forced this down a year ago, which is good because again, that email account's the most sensitive account you have. Scamazon, don't get Scamazon. So we're gonna talk about some, Jill, I use ChatGPT to come up with some funny headlines here. It's not great. So we're gonna talk about some of the scam types because I think these are the big things that we need to look out for. Phishing, they're just fake emails that you get. Refund scam, this is the big one that's going on right now. This is how my mother gave away $500. We're gonna look at this in a little more depth. Email impersonation, this would be the email you get from Bill asking you to go buy a gift card. And your tech support scams. Phone scams, these are getting less and less, a lot less cold calls. They want you to call them. So this isn't too big, but they're just looking for information. Phone numbers are easily spoofed or faked. So don't trust the number that you see. Again, if you're not sure, hang up, call a good number. For anyone who doesn't know what the grandparent scam is, it's called the grandparent scam because a scammer would call and say, hey grandma, I'm in trouble and I need help, and you would say, oh, is that you, Jimmy? And they'll go, yeah, it's Jimmy. And now you're hooked. And they're gonna get you to wire them money or send them money somehow. So again, hang up or use a fake grandparent name, throw them off the trail. Tech support. Microsoft does not care if your computer's infected. They don't. They will never call you. Apple will never call you. None of these people will ever call you out of the blue. There's a quick example of a phone scam where they would call and say, hey, we've been trying to get in touch with you. There's a problem with your computer, and you have an IP address that's been compromised, and we need to change your address and your license. And the big red flags here are sense of urgency, and that's a key with all of these scam artists. It has to be done now, because the longer you think about it, the more you're going to realize, this isn't adding up. So they make it purposefully confusing. And again, were you expecting a call from Microsoft? Probably not. Technical safeguards, they can't help here because again, they're trying to trick you into giving them money. The only thing stopping that is you and your ability to recognize these scams. Oh, the virus pop-up. These are laden right now. The internet's laden with these things that are horrible. They're aggressive, they're hard to close, they talk to you, so they're extra scary. I'm sure everyone has seen these if you've been using a computer. And these can come from legit sites, legitimate sites. Like Forbes, they sell advertising space along the side of their site, and they're not always paying attention to who they're selling that advertising space to, so that's where these things come from. They usually go full screen, and they're very hard to close, so if you hit the escape key, then you can close your browser, so you're using Chrome or Safari, you can close it all the way down. Worst case, you can hold your power button on your computer for 20 seconds, and it will shut down and get rid of this. So do not click on these, do not call the number. They're fake every time. This is like a Hollywood virus is what this is. Real viruses don't want you to know that they're on your computer.
Is it good to clear your history Is it good to clear the history every once in a while?
Not necessarily. If someone did get on your computer, they could use that to see where you go, and they have a little bit more information on you to try to build out who you are and where you go. Let's see. Oh, the refund scam. We're going to look at this a little closer, but so this is where you would maybe get the text message saying there's a problem with your order, and you would call the number, and eventually they would have you let them onto your computer. Then they would have you log into your bank account or your credit card account company, and then they blank out the screen so you can't see what they're doing. They'll pretend it's a connection problem. And from there, they can actually edit a website, and I can demonstrate that if we have enough time, but they can change the numbers on a website. It's completely fake, it's very easy to do, and so all of a sudden you're looking at your bank account, and you see that the numbers aren't correct, and there is a problem with your account. There's really not, and if you refreshed that web page, you would get the actual amount, but they convince you that there's a problem, and that you need to give them gift cards to make up the difference. Again, that word we're looking for is a gift card. This is how my mom paid out $500. They log into her computer, or her phone actually. They had her download an app on her phone so they could take over it and show her her accounts. So again, red flags, gift cards, automatically. It's confusing, your screen's blanking out. The big thing to take away here is do not let someone on your computer or your phone unless you know them personally or you trust them. So, quick tips, don't click on anything, don't install anything unless you know 100% what you're doing. Don't let anyone take over your computer unless you know them. Avoid public Wi-Fi, or if you are using public Wi-Fi, don't do your banking over it. Oh, this is a big one too. The never allow notifications. We see this constantly in browsers where a little thing will pop up says, would you like this site to allow this site to send you notifications? Well, everyone clicks allow because they think that's going to help them get to the site. All this means is you're allowing them to pop up little messages in the corner of your computer whenever they feel like it. Unless you want these websites constantly sending you advertising, just click block. It will not stop you from going to a website. Any questions? Oh, I guess we're starting over here.
I have a couple of just things from my own experience. Both Jim and I have had somebody try to file a tax return in our names, and that will always come as a letter, a physical USPS letter from the IRS, and then they will tell you where to go on your computer and will literally walk you through getting verification.
That's correct. You'll always receive certified mail from the IRS or any government entity.
And the other thing is, I have a password manager called MSecure that I paid less than $20 for, and I've used it for 15 years and have never, ever had any of my passwords hacked.
Good to know.
Very good. Okay, we're going to go right here.
I was concerned when you said update. If you see update, it seems to me like Apple's constantly updating. Is that true?
Yeah, all operating systems, Microsoft, Apple, everything constantly needs updates. And these updates are actually security patches more than features or changes to what you see. They're almost always security patches to help prevent people from getting in. There's no real easy way to tell you the difference between a legitimate update and an illegitimate update, but generally if the computer itself is telling you it needs an update versus if you're on a website. If you're on a website that says click here to update, do not do that. And that's probably something that Killian would as well.
About 3 or 4 times a day, I get on my iPhone a telephone number either from Buffalo or from one of the villages in western New York. I get so many of these, I don't respond to them. I let it ring, usually it's 7 times, and then I call back, and usually there will be, this has been disconnected or something like that. Then I block it, but I found out blocking doesn't do any good because the numbers are always different. Do you have any kind of solution for this?
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's like spam. If you block a spam email, well, you're never going to get an email from that person again. It's the same thing with the phone system. I think if old Alexander Graham Bell could realize what was going to happen, they might have put some security protocols in place during the creation of this. And it's the same with email. It's unfortunately just something we're going to live with, and sorry.
Another question. Okay, let's go with Janice. I'm a little too close because that was too loud. We can't get this thing right.
Hello. I was wondering if you're the individual that is helping management with Wi-Fi all over the place. And if you are.
Don't say you are.
And if you are, we have any light at the end of the tunnel?
Yes.
Oh, good. Could you repeat the question? Yeah, repeat the question.
The question is, am I the person who's handling the wireless here? And that's yes. And if there's any light at the end of the tunnel? And the answer is yes. We're working on it. It's going to be getting faster.
I do want to mention that you are always welcome to have your own Wi-Fi within your apartments and your patio homes with your cable provider. We are not an internet service company, however, we know that it's a service that we would like to provide to you, but we are limited. So if, let's say, this happens at the end of the year or next year, and you have Fox Run Wi-Fi only, and your Wi-Fi goes down at 10 p.m., we may not be able to address that right away. So it's always good to have an alternative as well, but we will be offering a little bit more Wi-Fi. And I did want to ask Mike, if we do offer Wi-Fi, can we do our baking on Fox Run Wi-Fi?
Absolutely, because our Wi-Fi will be very secure. Very, very secure.
What about the guest Wi-Fi?
That is also very secure. It's technically a public Wi-Fi, so it's your discretion. The new Wi-Fi that we're working on is going to be much more secure to the point where no other device, so if you have two phones, my phone and Joe's phone, they're connected to this new Wi-Fi here, they cannot talk to each other. So it's essentially I'm on my own little network, which makes it as secure as it can possibly get. We're working diligently on that.
I just want to also say that there's no timeline specifically. We're hoping to get this rolling out by the end of the year. Things happen though, so be patient with us. It is a priority, and we are working on it.
Yes.
Will this new Wi-Fi be more extensive than just in the commons and some of the lounges?
It will be everywhere.
You mean in my apartment?
Yes.
Got it.
You don't.
I have a question that we dealt with earlier in this program, but I got spammed with Amazon from supposedly somebody I knew, and they wanted $200 to buy an e-card. They used my credit card number that I did not give them. So,
Interesting. That's a good question. I can't answer that honestly, truthfully. Sounds like someone had a little more information than they should have had. But it's a good thing it was your credit card because again, you're not responsible for fraudulent credit card charges, which is why do not use your debit card online at all, especially Amazon, PayPal, things like that. Use that credit card because you can just call and say, I'm sorry, that's your money. I'm not responsible for it, so.
My Wi-Fi runs out in another month with Verizon. If Timber Pines, Fox Run offers it, will there be an additional charge, or should I keep my Verizon, or how is that going to work?
We aren't going to have it ready in a month, so you'll likely want to get your own service, but that's entirely up to you. It will be included just in your normal monthly service fee. There isn't at this time going to be an extra charge.
Say that again, there will be?
There will not be.
Not
Oh, there will not be.
I'm just going to jump in a minute. I want to stick to the rest of the presentation and the Wi-Fi questions. I think when we get closer to the rollout, we'll explain everything, like Jill said, maybe by the end of the year at another coffee hour.
There's one more thing I wanted to show, and it's part of that refund scam. So what I have here, and this is my personal Business American Express card, and I just want to show how easy it is to change a record. So I can click on, and your screen would be blanked out during this, where someone's you've let someone on your computer. I can go to inspect. It's a little hard for me to see all the way over there. So again, keep in mind, your screen is blanked out the entire time, and, hold on a second.
How do they get in there?
Well, anyone can get in. Oh, how do they get on your computer?
Yeah.
Well, you let them on it because they've convinced you that there's a problem and you need to help them.
I'm working with them.
Yeah, yeah, you're working with them.
But they can't just get in there from them.
They cannot.
That's why we don't talk to anybody.
That's right, you hang up.
You hang up.
Because what are they going to do? Take away your birthday?
Yeah, really.
They're not. Where is it? Here, let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. So now watch this. Maybe I got a refund that was an extra $10,000. You see that statement balance has changed?
Yes.
And then maybe they're going to come down here and click on this Amazon. They're going to inspect that. And they're going to change this text. Ooh. They're going to change this text. And it's going to say, Amazon refund. And I just changed that now. And maybe I'm going to change this amount next to it. But basically, they're going to edit this website. And they're not changing the site, they're not changing balances, they're changing the text. And as soon as I hit refresh, we're going to close this down. And so now they would unblack your screen and say, oh, the connection problem's fixed. And you're looking at that and you're going, what the heck? Why is my statement down? So you can see it. That did refresh. You're going to refresh this again. And now you're going to see this change back to Amazon.com, and my statement balance is correct. So they manipulate these sites to make you think there's an actual problem, and it does, it scares people. So when they see that their bank account numbers changed, and I mean, some of these people are saying that $40,000 are missing out of your bank account, and you panic, and this is the only person that can help you because they really sucker you in. So the moral of the story is do not call them, do not listen to anything they're saying, and you'll be much better off.
But they always credit it back to whatever method you use to pay. So you don't need to give them any numbers.
Never.
They already know.
Yeah.
If it's really Amazon.
And that's what people think about credit cards, because again, it's not your money. If something happens, whoops. Yeah?
Marco?
Question again, when you're out of town and you need to get on, give your credit card number to someone, you don't use their Wi-Fi, but is the cellular connection safe?
Yes, very safe. Possibly more safe than any other wireless around. Because Verizon or any of your carriers make sure your device, again, is separate from all other devices.
Okay, we've got time for one more question. Who's going to be the lucky one?
Yeah. Is it you? Do you have a
Is
question?
it me? Oh, I think I have a question. I
Oh,
think.
hey, Bill's here.
Oh, hi, Bill. Do you have a question?
No.
Are you sure?
Don't forget to sign into the sheet in the back. Name, address, phone number, mother's name. Social security number.
It's not a
There you
scam.
go.
I mean, I think what I've learned from this presentation is to get rid of your computers, your cell phones, and everything else. Because it's happening.
Paper and pencil.
Yeah, paper and pencil. Let's just go back to the 50s.
The computer genie's out.
Oh, and Jen's here. Maybe Jen has a question. But I was going to say, since I've been here, the grandparent scam, a couple people, it's been havoc. You know, residents will say, we actually had one person go to the bank to get the money. And so that's very real. And the other one is from Bill, that we did have staff at Wegmans questioning the gift cards, saying, which ones do you want me to get? And we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, so those absolutely happen here. So. Okay, Alona, your last question.
Quickly, my sister-in-law has gotten many calls on the grandparent thing. First of all, they say Jimmy, and or you say Al, but I don't have a grandson, and she has a whistle, and she blows right into the
That's a great idea. I like that.
That's what she does.
Good for her.
So we need to start selling whistles in the gift shop. Okay, so.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, go Bills.